All right, welcome to the Fresh Jive podcast. We are now in episode 4, and some of our guests just keep getting more and more amazing. We have I'm really excited about our guest today. We have Mr. Agent Ziko with us, Ziko Pepe. Ziko, how are you doing?
Great, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
And of course, our recurring co-host, Ahmad Doggy Dog, is joining us as well.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Ziko, why don't you introduce yourself to all the people out there?
So yeah, my name is Ziko Pepe. I was former commissioner of the Muslim Basketball League, which we all took part in. I've known Ahmad since high school. We would get in trouble together a lot when we were in high school.
The crazy party boys, the bad boys.
and I'm familiar about the history between you and Ahmad, and I think it was more you guys played Pokemon in the library.
Yeah, we were nerds. We weren't invited to any parties. We would literally just play Pokemon in class and libraries. And
our Nintendo DSs used to get taken away.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And we would trade Pokemon during class.
I mean, you guys have known each other for a long time. How crazy is it to go from high school and seeing each other all the time and then playing in basketball leagues together? When did you guys get reunited again? Was it in NBL?
NBL.
Yeah. Actually, there was a good span where I don't think we saw each other for maybe 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. And then he joined an NBL team.
Yeah.
And
when DT was created.
Yeah.
And then did you recognize his name right away?
Of course. Yeah. I think I messaged him right away, like, dude, you're playing in the league?
Yeah.
I think I messaged him one time before that, like, dude, you should be playing in this, Sharif, too, if you remember. But Sharif never came. You did, and
And were you NBL commissioner or NBL admin at that time?
I was actually... I was commissioner for NBL for I think like 12 years.
Okay.
So it went for a long time. I was admin only for like a year or two before that. And then Amir Syed, he actually moved away, and then I took over for him. So
how did you get involved with NBL in the first place?
So I was supposed to play in NBL in the first 2 seasons, but I actually fractured my foot.
What year was this?
Man, this goes back to 2004, 2005. And
we graduated in 03.
Yeah, graduated in 03, fractured my foot that year, that summer, and didn't play in NBL the first season for sure. The second season, I think I was in Europe, so I didn't play. And then the third season was the first season I played. So that was how I started with NBL. I loved the league right from the get-go. It's a little different, when you're younger and you don't have a lot of Muslim friends. Mm-hmm. And, I met Ahmad, I met a couple other people from school. But then when I got into that community, it was something special. Your friends just skyrocketed, how many people meet, connect with, network with. So I loved it from the get-go, and they thought I was a character.
I think they still think you're a character.
They do, of course. And they just, I forgot who it was. I think it was Amir Amir said who actually pushed me to be an admin from the get-go. And Bilal Abdel Fattah was there too, who I was connected with at that time. And he agreed I should be part of it. And just like that, they made me an admin. I think a year later, they made me commissioner. So
Awesome. And at that time, when you first joined, there was only one division, right?
No, actually, when I joined, there was one division, but when I became commissioner, there was 2.
Got it.
And so I pushed for Division 3 originally.
Got it.
Who won that year?
Which
the
year?
First year D2.
The first year, the first year D2. Yeah. I can't remember who it was, honestly.
This is
Blaze.
No, I remember who it was. I was being sarcastic.
It's funny actually. I think it was around 2006. Somebody actually reached out to me to come join and play in NBL, and I said, "Yeah, sure, I'm down." This was when I was in law school, so I was living in Orange. And they said, there was an orientation that I had to attend. Yeah. And I was like, orientation for an adult basketball league? What are you talking about? Tell me when the game is, I'll show up, And that was my stance. I think the orientation was on a Saturday morning or something like that. I couldn't make it. Because
Plus, it was all Muslims. You didn't think you were going to be able to join.
So for some reason or another, I forget what exactly it was. I couldn't make that orientation, and then I was like, I guess I'm not playing in the NBL. And this is in 2006, like years before I actually joined. So then you came on, fell in love with the league, really enjoyed it.
Scrapped orientation.
Scrapped orientation.
The first things. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I did do that. Yeah. I didn't want anything to do with that.
So
May always had a problem with prayer during the weddings. I don't know if it's a good time to bring that up. I loved it. I'm saying May had a problem.
Okay. Well, actually, that brings up a good point. Just for all the viewers to know, when I started playing in MBL, and I came on as an admin too, me and Ziko actually butted heads like crazy, right?
Everybody butted heads with me though. So
And it was funny because and Ziko would always send out these huge emails, but I don't think he realized I was always down to write super long emails right back.
Actually, that was the one thing I really appreciated about May, because I was like, dude, he actually read everything. Like my paragraph, here's a direct response to each individual one. No one else did that. And every other response was like, okay.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, because we had a separate MBL admin thread, if you saw some of these email threads between me and Ziko,
I'm sure you shared some of them.
Probably still have them.
Maybe we'll show them some clips right here. No, they were literally like huge emails back and forth. Ziko would send a huge email, I'd send a huge email. Honestly, it was a lot of fun just kind of battling back and forth with Ziko. But end of the day, I think we both loved MBL. Yeah. And there was never any, like anger or animosity about it. It was just different opinions and different things like that. Ziko, I don't know if you remember, I think before I joined as admin, we had the Ravage blog. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And that was, I think Ziko's, you called it a TMZ gossip site.
Yeah, that's what I did call it, yeah. So you guys had it on the old website, you have it on your page. Yeah. You guys were the ones that like pioneered the way for every other team, because you guys learned how to change your team's website, added all these things to it, and some of the other admin were like, they can't be doing this. I'm like, dude, just let them have fun. I don't care about that. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
So
let me tell you, basically, so what we would do, like what Ziko mentioned, we edited our team site, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing, I think our team name, I forget exactly what our team name was.
They had a problem with the music too.
The music, that's what it was.
Yes,
right?
It doesn't bother me again.
Yeah.
But.
No. So this is what that. So this is what we did. On that website, we would put power rankings, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we would list out full-on power rankings. Our team site, it was on the home sports, whatever, right? Our team site was the #1 visited team site because we would put the power rankings for D2. And everybody would visit it. And I put an Alicia Keys song with Jay-Z, New York, right? Yeah. I put that song. It had one bad word in it.
Oh my God, those emails for that.
I got an email saying, hey, you need to take down the song. It has a bad word in it. Yeah. And I was like, are you kidding me? That was like the most PC song. It was like, welcome to New York, you know, whatever. And then I was like, okay, no problem. This is your guys' site. I'll follow your rules. That's when I completely moved everything to the website, the blog spot. And I was like, hey, and I put a like, dramatic paragraph in there saying, hey, MBL doesn't want us to play our music, so we're moving everything. If you want to continue seeing our content, click on the Ravage blog page right here. Clicked on it. And then, honestly, that was a lot of fun just handling, like, making that page, because we had articles. We had a whole team of people putting content out for MBL unofficially, And that I remember Ziko would be like, "Oh, that TMZ site." Yeah. But Ziko, you were visiting that site too.
I was but okay. I actually love the site. But see, like my mentality was when one thing. So like obviously I'm not part of running MBL anymore. And one of the things that was hard was I'm more open. Like Ahmad knows, I was in like bands when I was in high school, like rock bands and all these things. I didn't care about the music. Like I loved all that stuff. Everything was cool with me. But obviously it being a religious league, there's some people it's going to bother, and they had to address it. So like again, the emails for your guys' website were like daily. Somebody we get a email to info@mbleague.com email address where people are complaining about your guys' site, and like what can you do about it? But I loved it, and like that was kind of when I also suggested like, well, just ask them to write for us.
Yeah,
just put it on our page. Like everybody would be looking at our page, and there was so much drama with it.
I know. It was so funny too because we had a situation where Asif Qureshi had an altercation on the basketball court with Mr. Zafar Jadwet, and it was a slap heard across the world. And the thing is, MBL was figuring out what his suspension would be, and then right when he got the suspension, it wasn't like publicly made. Asif told me, I put it on our site right away. Breaking news: Asif Qureshi is suspended for 2 games. They were like, how did they find out? We just had a lot of fun with it. And then,
was this before the forums or after the forum?
After. No, this was before. The forums you're talking.
Well, there was forums before as well.
The forums were like this when like people were just talking crap
smack,
smack each other and then hide their IPs and
they did all that. I actually got. Before they made me an admin and a commissioner, I got into trouble for those all the time. I would write all kinds of stuff and then it'd be deleted 30 minutes later because and then I get the text message from Bra or Hisham.
and it was so funny too because I think once I became an admin and we started doing power rankings, I mean it was just fun, giving everybody nicknames and just giving nicknames, and everybody was looking forward to those articles, right? And they're seeing, hey, if they got a nickname, if they got mentioned. And I remember I got a complaint once again too because I said, oh, the basketball gods were angry with this team. This was such a whole situation because I used the term basketball gods, which is a common terminology you would use for any type of industry. But they were like, oh, no, this is a Muslim league. We don't believe in multiple gods. And I was like, I was like, nobody's saying that there's actual basketball gods, And,
I mean, they were right, mate. Right? Technically, they were right.
But like, it's like saying like the board game Catan. The Catan gods were angry that day because you know what I mean. It wasn't necessarily talking about multiple gods, but somebody got upset about that, and that's when I was just like, oh man, that was tough to deal with.
Talk about peak MBL though. Think about it. At that time, you had that stuff going on. I had Raging Smack Talk Radio going on. You guys even made a TNT version video. So remember that? Mm-hmm. Where you guys had the table and everything set up.
Yep.
That was commentary, right?
Yeah.
We had the Best Damn MBL Sports Show.
Yes.
And we would like before the season would kick off, we would literally go through every team, and because that was one of the things about MBL that I really enjoyed is that you started to get to know all the other teams. And every team would come right back in it, and you would see the same guys all year long. That's where rivalries picked up, and like I think myself, and it was so much fun. Like Ahmad Khalaf and I would always battle, right? Yeah. And then I don't know if you remember, I did a commercial based off the NBA where we do half of our heads with each other, right? Because like that's what the NBA did, and I made a commercial with Ahmad Khalaf where we're both saying the same sentence, but it's half and half. That was like things like that.
Dude,
so much fun.
That was peak.
And this is all outside of the basketball court stuff, It's just a lot of fun stuff.
Do you remember like how much drama there was when like one like key player would leave a team that had been playing on for like years and go somewhere? It's like, dude, like everybody's talking about it in the off season. Message boards are firing for it. Nobody could believe what was going on. It was like legit like Woj bombs going off, anytime somebody heard something like that.
And I mean, and that was around the time Amar Ashraf and I were kind of then I was a commissioner for D3. Amar was commissioner as well. We brought in the NBA replica jerseys, and then we did a whole jersey reveal. Like I remember I put it on. I took over the NBL Instagram for a moment, and everyone wanted to see their jerseys. And I was like, oh, here's ICH's jersey, for example, and it was just so much fun doing all of these little extra things, All right, so Ziko, you were part of MBL. When did you step away from MBL?
So I stepped away during the pandemic. I actually didn't want MBL to start right away. I told them wait. Everybody was really rushing to get back into things. They did make a requirement to be vaccinated to play. I chose not to get vaccinated. So I just told them like,
Ahmad, do you want to move your chair over a little? I'm just joking. No, he said he's not vaccinated. If you want to scoot over a little bit.
So I chose not to get vaccinated, and I told them like I'm going to step away. Mm-hmm. Totally understand that they want to do that, and that was it. I'm
with you on that. I did get vaccinated because I had to travel. Right. If I had a choice, I wouldn't have.
I almost had to as well because I was engaged at the time and my wife was in Europe. Mm-hmm. And so I was going back and forth, and I went 11 months without going at all. So there was a lot of stuff. It was complicated for everybody, and I understand that.
Sure.
But I think what they didn't expect was that all of D1 would quit as well. You know?
Well, because the thing is, Ziko, you were essentially the face of D1. You were the main cog that got D1 going. You were the one that was corralling all the teams, all the players. When I think of NBL D1, I think about you. You're synonymous with D1. So if you're not there to keep, if you're not there in NBL, I mean, half those teams are not registering without you there.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I actually registered 3 or 4 teams myself every season.
Yes.
I would put the teams together. I wouldn't stack teams. I would try and make them as balanced and competitive as possible. I had tons of non-Muslims that wanted to play. So I would just do that. I'd make 3 or 4 teams. I'd usually put myself on the worst of those 3 teams. And, you know.
Same thing that what May did, playing with Ali Qureshi, Asif Qureshi.
Yeah.
I tried to play with the level players, you know. So no, I mean, and for personally speaking, I hated playing on like stacked teams. I preferred like that underdog role.
Yeah.
I've always had that.
Same
you
here.
know.
I mean,
I'd rather be. I mean, not only that, not just underdog. Just play with friends.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna play with a bunch of people I don't know. Sure, I'm sure they're all good players. Like, you know, there could be like.
but what if your whole team was stacked?
Like playing on a team with like Mon. He's really good, you know. And then playing another team. What's that other guy's name with the super long arms?
J. Paul, right? Or J. Paul, right?
J. Paul, yeah. So like playing on a team with a bunch of really good people who I don't really know. That was never something that I was interested
Not for
in.
NBL.
Yeah.
So he's just taking a shot at Blaze, all right? Where he's talking about a great GM, Imran Malik.
No. I mean, no, it's no big deal. I'm just joking. But me personally speaking, I would love to beat Blaze than rather be on Blaze, you know? And of course, they're such a good team. We didn't beat them, you know, but I'd much rather take on the challenge of trying to beat them than be part of that team, you know? So I get it.
But our roster was full, you know. So. but yeah, law school. That's why you didn't join.
I was actually the Blaze cameraman. That's what I would always tell people.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he called himself.
Yeah, you were in law school.
And the thing is, I had never played NBL at the time. I just wanted people to talk trash to me so bad because I kept on saying, "Oh, I'm just a cameraman," and I wanted them to say, "Oh, that's why you're the cameraman," and then I come back next season and completely destroy them, you know.
Actually, I think I remember asking you to play. Because everybody's like, hey, Moreau's actually really good. He's doing the camera for that team all the time.
Yeah.
And I think I asked you, like, hey, man, do you want to play? I think I had, like, a roster spot available on my D1 team.
Yeah.
And you weren't interested in playing D1.
No, it was also I was taking the bar exam. That's the whole reason I didn't even play. So I was, like, taking that season. I was taking a few months off just to study.
He's like, get away, man. I don't want to commit to a whole league. I'm just trying to get called out so I can play one-on-one and beat him.
By the way, the one thing I do want to clear up, since it's still talked about today, which kind of blows my mind that I have people still messaging me about this. For some reason, people thought I hated D2 or D3 or D4. I think I played a couple seasons of D2. We played together.
Yeah, perhaps.
We played together one season, I know for sure. And I coached you guys like 3 or 4 seasons, if you guys remember.
I remember you did coach.
Yeah.
I don't remember you ever being on a D2 roster,
I did. I made multiple teams. In fact, I had a couple that ended up really bad when I was like playing with like Saad Amer and like he was like fighting with everyone the whole season. It was, like,
honestly, shout out Saad Amer. Honestly, I love Saad. Let me tell you,
man. He's still playing in my league right now.
One thing about Saad, let me tell you. If you know him on the court, do you think this guy's gonna fight any moment, every time? But I'm telling you, off the court, one of the nicest guys. Yeah, it's crazy. Bear. Like he reminds me.
You're giving up all his street cred.
Hey, you know who he reminds me? He reminds me of Marcus Morris, right? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
Right? Like Marcus Morris, you know, you think like that gritty, like, you know, rough, like the enforcer type, you know? But I'm telling you, Saad is like a teddy bear. Saad, if you're watching, you know, I love you. You're Niners. Was he a Niners fan or a Raiders fan? I think he was a Niners fan. I would always give him a hard time.
He looks
like a Raiders fan.
I'm pretty sure he's a Niners fan, though. I'm pretty sure he's a Niners fan. No, but super nice guy. And I had the pleasure of playing a few teams with him. Super nice guy.
But back to what you were saying, 100% yes. I don't know, again, I would talk to Imran, Miroz, whoever else, and it was it would get the sense that D2 was getting more fans and more like eyeballs than D1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
But that was also like your guys. I mean, it wasn't getting eyeballs. Like you have to think. Like you guys had a following. Like Blaze had a following when you guys came to the league.
Oh, because they brought a bunch of people to watch. Yeah.
Like if I decided to like call up all my Albanian family members, you know, like I could have a swarm of them like there. But like I never wanted that. Like I was like, geez,
why not though? It's fun.
Well, Albanians are a little, you know, like. Let's just say difficult. I mean, aside from Blaze, you guys should remember the most critical fights in NBL history included all of my family members.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
You know, like,
I remember a few fights that involved, you know, like a poor child was assaulted one time.
Unfortunately, yes. So yeah, that was one of many.
Yes,
that's one of many. So like,
probably for the best.
Yeah. So like again, I never invited. No, stay home. It's okay. Like, that's it. You know what I mean?
No, and then all those fans were only there for one player, OCBL. 100%.
Okay, so Ziko, back to you. Wanted to clear the air and get the record straight for everybody. What were your views on D2 then?
So I wanted the league to grow more than anything, and like my whole game plan was there should be at least 8 teams in every division, and then keep growing it. I loved when they added D4 as well. I thought their 35 and over league was great. There's a lot of guys like Ramsey Atani, who is one of the best D1 players. He was there from the start, one of the best D1 players to ever play, but the guy was like pushing 45 and still playing really well in D1, but like I saw him, like he played the last season he played with me and we won the title. The guy was burning out. You know, he would like run up and down the court chasing one of the big guys, was banging with them, and then like 5 minutes in, like screaming for a sub. And like that was the point where I was like, man, they really do need something for him because he wants to still play. So I loved all the divisions. I wanted to support all of them. My only issue came, and like this was more with the kids, when they would say something like, this D2 player is like the best NBL player ever. And to me, it's like the best. Like Justin Johnson, Danny Kavic, like he's not better. Like how are you trying to say this one's one of the best?
And
like, that was like the only
not
thing
even looking at
comprehend.
a D1 team player, right? Yeah.
And so like that was like the thing where I was just like, and like most of the kids, I have an issue with kids in general, you know, because like I don't think they know real basketball as opposed to like the ball is life stuff that they're watching now. And so like I would sit and argue with those kids all the time, and they would piss me off.
And do you think they interpreted that as, oh, you're hating on D2 and D3?
You're a hater. I'm like, all right, well, let's let him play D1 and
see how he does over there. Yeah,
which guys would do that, and they'd be averaging 30 in D2 and come to D1 and they couldn't break 10 points. You know, and it's just a different game. It's like going from high school to college, and the same thing is actually happening now from NBL to my league. You know, not a lot of NBL guys came. The guys that came struggled, and they're taking seasons off, not able to play. So
that's perfect segue. Let's talk to us a little bit about your new league that you started.
So, yeah, when I chose not to play NBL, the D1 guys, just one team after another, they just said, we're not playing. If Ziko's not a commissioner, we're not playing. And most of them weren't vaccinated. They didn't want to get vaccinated, so it kind of fell off like that. I think there was like 2 teams that were saying, all right, well, we'll still play. And it just wasn't enough for Barad to keep running it. And all those guys right away started messaging me like, hey, man, like, put something else together. You know what you need to do. Make a new league, you know. And I had just gotten married, you know. And I was just like, you know, I'm going to take some time off. And I think
By the way, congratulations on that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I waited like 7 months before I like asked my wife, hey, is it okay if I do this?
Yeah. You got to wait right away. Yeah, you can't just jump right in.
Take her out a little bit, at least let her see the world in California.
Yeah.
You know. So, but Omar Alameddine was the guy who really got me going with it. You know, he said in particular, like, let's put something together where, just like NBL, we're doing something to give back to the community. You know, NBL was a religious league, and we decided to put a league together where, you know, Omar's dad had passed away from MS, and my mom had been suffering from cancer for the last 5 years now, and almost passed away during that time. But she's fought through it. She's a champion. Super proud of her. And we said, like, let's put a league together where the team that wins gets to decide where to make a donation for a charity.
Awesome.
And so that was kind of the basis that we started with, and that was what we chose to do, and kind of play with a purpose. Because I think one of the best things about NBL, even though there were fights, it was so much easier to control something compared to other leagues that I'm sure you guys have played into, where fights happen like every single night. When you have a reason, like when you could go to like a Muslim brother and say, "Hey, Sabr, like calm down, bro," like it changes their attitude. And it's like the same thing when you come to this league. The attitude, we have not had any altercation. I think there was one time guys kind of squared up, and it was more like a hustle play type of situation. But no guys at any point have been in a situation where they want to fight or anything like that. I'm super happy with that.
What's the percentage of Albanians in your new league? I'm guessing very small percentage, if that's the case.
Me, Dino, and Farouk, and that's it. So,
No, not only created a new league, you made it better. Not only, actually, you guys are posting about it, the highlights, intros, like friendly beefs amongst teams, right?
And these are all the things that Ziko was doing at MBL too. And I feel like you're kind of have your handcuffs off, or you're free to do whatever you want, because this is your league, you know? You're able to do all of those creative things that you were doing.
Pride Month next week, right? So Pride
well, this might be news to Ziko's wife now. Cancer Awareness Month? Is that what we're doing? Breast cancer?
No. Shout out to Omar too, by the way. Great guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him in MBL. Really nice gentleman. His basketball game is suffering a little bit. I'm just joking. Oh my God.
He just had a baby, by the way.
Oh, congratulations.
His wife just had a baby.
No, hey,
look, you might get mad at me for that.
No, I mean, trust me, husbands suffer right along too, man. So let's not take anything away from the guys who have been there too, you know? No, so Omar approached you. You guys said, "Hey, let's do this," right? Yeah. What were the steps that you went into, like, to get it started off the ground?
Honestly, it was like doing MBL all over again. Aside from registering a company name and doing it that way, we didn't make it a nonprofit. We did make it an LLC. That's the only difference. But
so it's a nonprofit or a profit?
No, it is a profit. Yes.
Nice Ferrari, by the way.
Wait a minute.
No. I've been losing money with this league so far. I'm not making any money.
Yeah, it's not new. It's just an old Enzo.
Okay.
Only 400 made out of it. One of three, the silver color, right? The metal. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, he said it's a for-profit league.
I know.
That's perfectly fine.
I mean, I do have another business too. It's not. This ain't the only one. So
no, more so than anything, this is more like a hobby, more passion project. I'm sure.
Yeah,
you know,
and then by the way, May has always talked about creating his own league too. You know.
Oh, well, you had one.
I had an unofficial one, right? Jungle Ball is what we would call it. And it was basically more like one-day tournaments. It was never just like a full-fledged league. And people have been telling me, "Hey, do a full league."
And
you know,
Jungle
like
Ball is not exclusive to basketball. It's Catan. It's
Jungle Ball is just more like the overall enterprise that we use to get people together. You know?
100%. Yeah, and exclusive membership, where like we have our own currency called Jungle Bucks.
It's a cult. It's a cult, isn't it?
No.
That's why you guys never invited them.
No, it's not.
We're actually planning on releasing a cryptocurrency.
It's closer to a pyramid scheme than a cult.
I guess what Gamal should say is he's trying to recruit you under him.
We were one of the early ones that did e-gaming tournaments.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we did Counter-Strike.
Right, yeah.
Counter-Strike, Jungle Ball
tournament. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
So I mean, with Jungle Ball, when we did the basketball tournaments, we essentially had 20 people come, 4 captains. We picked teams right there, like by draft, right? And we would do a round robin regular season, and then a quick playoffs. One seed plays the 4 seed, 2 plays the 3, then a championship game. So essentially, up to 5 games, minimum 4 games. We would pay for 2 hours of the gym rental. I would take stats, give everybody their profile of like their percentages. So it was
record everything too.
Recorded games too. So it was a lot of fun.
Free Gatorade.
Gatorade was part of it.
Shirt. You know? Everybody gets a shirt.
Everybody gets a shirt to commemorate it too. So it was always just like a one-day tournament. And so people were like, "Hey, let's do a full season like this," you know. But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
A lot of work, and just the time commitment alone, just to plan it and do it right. Because I mean, we're playing. It was. I like to describe it as organized pickup.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty much what it was. But so much work, just planning and getting the refs, I'm sure.
And the DJ.
Did you use Cam and his company for refs?
I wish. I loved Cam. Cam is one of my favorite people ever. But I didn't want to take Cam from NBL because Cam doesn't have a lot of refs. And I knew that if Cam came in and took my league and was bringing, because we have 3 refs in our league, if he brought 3 officials, which one would have to be him for this level of basketball, I think it would have hurt NBL. And like, I didn't have anything against NBL. I never wanted to hurt NBL starting a new league. I had a lot of guys messaging me like, if I was going to do D2, I don't want to compete with them. I made a league that's completely different from NBL.
I mean, you kind of should, because I'm saying is, I was supposed to be on a team for D2, and Oscar Qureshi registered us within 8 minutes, right? And we still didn't make it.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Like, so the demand.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, so many people like trying to run.
There's a lot of new kids.
Yeah.
A lot of new kids playing now.
I mean, that reminds me of when when we were playing D2, it was like that too. Like right away, you had to register. You had to get paid, make sure you were paid, everything like that. So there's definitely a market there for sure. So is Cam still doing NBL?
Cam is still doing NBL. I'm actually, you guys remember Tony, right?
Tony.
The other ref, the younger ref that was kind of training under Cam.
I'm sure if I saw him, I'd recognize him.
Yeah, he's working for a company now under a guy named Samson Brew, who knows Cam as well.
Is that Ace's ref, or is that Cam's company's Ace's ref, or is that a completely different one?
I don't know which one that one is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's running the refs now, and they're G League officials.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
So is that the company you have?
Yeah, that's the company I'm using.
Amazing.
It's under Samson Brew, yeah.
Amazing. So you're having high-level refs because the level of gameplay is definitely higher for you guys.
It
right?
is. It's a lot different. I'm in NBL, I could be a starting point guard. And even at this point, I feel like I could still be a fringe all-star. Not even close in this league.
So are you guys utilizing NBA rules completely?
Yeah, full NBA rules. I think there's only small changes. We don't have the defensive.
Offensive 3.
We don't have the circle for like the charges, in that. So like there's little individual things like that, but we do have defensive and offensive 3 seconds, and I think you can advance the ball at any point, but because it's a smaller court. So there's like little things like that we've altered, but I think 98% NBA rules.
Got it. And what season are you in now with your new league?
Second season right now.
Second season. So what were the difference between season 1 and season 2 in your eyes?
Competition went like crazy high. The first season was really good competition, but then word got out. So like one of the things I would love to do with this league is make it into a Pro-Am league. There is no Pro-Am league in Orange County. There's one in Los Angeles, there's one in San Diego, and there's one in the Inland Empire. And there's 2 possible leagues that I think could get the Pro-Am. It'd be ours or Darren Collison's league right now.
What are the qualifications, like you're mentioning? High level referees, of course.
So basically, yeah, you need the referees, you need the players, you need the media. So like all things I've kind of started implementing. The other thing you probably need is the court, which I don't have right now since I'm playing out of Open Gym Premier. They want an NBA size court. But when we just had an all-star game versus Darren Collison's league, Pros Division. And,
I was just going to ask you about that. I saw that happen recently. How did that come about?
So a lot of my guys are playing in both, and both leagues are really good competition. And they kind of had been mentioning over and over again, like we should mix. And one of their founders, Sean Marshall, who's an amazing basketball player, he came and played in my league. And the first night he played, he loved it. Was messaging with me that night, and I messaged him back telling him like, hey man, we should totally do an all-star game versus each other. And he was all for it, and both teams were missing a lot of players, which kind of sucked. We didn't have Justin Johnson, a few other guys, and they didn't have Darren Collison, which helped us a lot.
I'm a big Darren Collison fan, by the way.
Me too.
I'm a UCLA alum. I love Darren Collison's game. Yeah,
I played against Darren Collison when he was at UCLA, and the guy was amazing. Those are like those points when you understand the difference between an NBA player and anyone else.
Oh yeah,
that was my reality.
Oh man, 100%. I played in a Pro-Am tournament a long time ago, and the level of gameplay, it's like, trust me, I was playing against people who were I wouldn't say Division 1 or Division 3 college, and they were playing overseas.
On the girls team.
I played against. Let me tell you something.
No. Not hitting. Yeah, but you played on the girls' team.
What he's
UCR. I mean,
what he's referencing, I actually played against the Division I women's team as a practice player for them. Which, by the way, they were amazing too.
Yeah.
Like, people want to talk about the women's game, but I'm telling you, anybody commenting about that, try going and playing against them, because I'm telling you, they will destroy you, right? Yeah. And they're physical. Like I've gotten elbows to the face from them so many times, But yeah, like anybody hating on the WNBA, like they wouldn't stand a chance, 100%.
I don't hate them. There's a bunch of girls I've played with in the past. Just pick up ball. They used to come 24-hour. They were going to college and playing ball, and they're amazing.
Really, like there's so much. They're really good.
Yeah.
But no, what I was saying was basically I played in that pro-am tournament, and I was playing against this other point guard or this other guard. He was played overseas, and we probably played the best game of our lives. And we scored like 96 points. This is my, like D-Tran and Randy, that team, right?
Right.
And they had 130 points on us, right? But the pace of the game, the pace was the biggest thing I noticed. We were up and down super fast. And it was funny because the reason we got invited to that tournament is the league that we were playing in, the ref was kind of like affiliated with the G League, similar situation, right? There was a high level group of refs. They were putting on this pro-am tournament, and he was saying, and our team was full of Asians and minorities. He was trying to get Wayne ZZ to play on our team, right? And I was like, that's kind of racist, though, right? Why can't we get another NBA player? Why does it have to be Wayne ZZ with us? But no, it was honestly a great experience. But biggest thing I noticed was like the tempo and pace of the game. It's just, and again, this is against the Division III college player. Yeah. Now it just gets another level Division I, another level NBA. It's insane how there's levels to this. 100%.
I've played against quite a few NBA players now, and the pace is one thing. The decision making is the other. Like it's amazing how quickly they make the right decisions, the reads that we will never see in that quick moment. The way they see the floor. I still play with Corey Maggette. He plays in my Tuesday night league, and the guy's like freaking 48. And he's like just still dominating. And
Corey Maggette's a beast, though. He's built like a rock, man. Yeah.
And there's like little you can really do. You just kind of hope that he doesn't feel like playing hard that day.
I mean, he destroyed everybody in the Big Three league, right?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like he could still be in the NBA, man.
Body-wise, he looks like it. He still looks like he's in his 30s.
God, I mean, all those former Clipper greats, man. I love all of them, so I always like to support and follow them. So who won the All-Star game that you guys had?
They actually won the All-Star game.
Was it close?
It was close until like the last 5 minutes of the game, and then they just pulled away. I think they won by 15. So
okay, no, but that's fun that you get to do that. And another fun thing that I really liked from your league is you did the post game interviews.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I think I've commented on a few of your Instagram posts about it. Love that you do that. I mean, it adds because at this point nobody's making the NBA, right?
Yeah.
But it gives people like that, and that's what I was trying to do with NBL too. It gives people that feel, and that's what NBL was so much fun. Guys who we're never going to be in the NBA at this point, but it gives us the feeling of what it would be like to at that level, having that media stuff. That's the fun part about it,
I love that. Honestly, that's the same thing I loved in NBL. There's like an aspect of your life where you're watching these players play on TV every single night. You're watching those post-game interviews. You're reading the articles the next day.
It's better than playing fantasy. Basketball on your phone.
Exactly. So like
it's like being immersed in it. Really,
exactly.
Yeah.
So like when you're immersed in it like that, people get obsessive about it. Like, do you guys remember how obsessive people were about NBL?
Yeah.
We check our stats.
Dude,
our
it was crazy. Like every night,
if we got
somebody missed 2 assists on I know I had.
Oh yeah. All the people that would say correct the stats.
Was it our team that got in trouble for somebody that was doing our stats?
Yes,
was it for his team?
I think every team got.
Yeah.
But we got in trouble. I forget who it was.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Ziko, there's always been a conspiracy theory about Dino doing your stats.
Dino did do some of my stats. He did do some of my stats, and I'm sure he was a little more grateful than other people were.
Because you led the league in assists for like 10 years straight.
Right.
Points
Dino was
rebounds.
also playing at that point. Don't forget, I was leading the league in assists. No, not points. Never.
Ziko cared about the
assists and steals. Assists and steals. I think.
Didn't get Dino carried away?
Still today, I think if you did all the math, I'd probably still lead the league in assists and steals all time. Muhammad Ali was the only guy that was ever close.
But a lot of people, I mean, this is, I guess we would need Dino to come on and address this, but a lot of people said that Dino inflated those assist numbers to get you that.
We'll put Dino on a lie detector.
You could put Dino on a lie detector, but like,
he comes in, we start asking completely different questions.
You've played with me before, and so like, I'm one of those.
No. All jokes aside, Ziko is definitely one of the most unselfish players there is. If you could choose between an assist or a bucket, he'd choose an assist. He'll jack up an occasional three here and there, but he's always looking for
I'd take 10 assists over 30 points any day.
Dude, but to the point where
Ziko was a varsity player. Like I said, I've known him from high school. Ziko was a varsity basketball player. Again, we never talked about. I mean, a lot of stuff. We were friends. We talked about not much. I mean, back then I didn't play basketball. I didn't play basketball until after high school. But he was always in game gear. And we were talking photography. We talked a little bit about basketball, but off the court, you would never think this guy plays that much basketball. Because if you actually hang out with him off the court, you're like, he's into writing, he's into music. I'm currently learning piano. Me and my wife are both learning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So. Again, you would never think, dude, this guy's that obsessed with like basketball, or he's just a Laker fan, just watches, No, but like, dude, he was legit. Like, even back in high school.
No, and the thing is, my encounters with you, Ziko, were mostly just battling about MBL stuff and admin stuff, and making sure I can play a song. But then I ended up playing on a team with you on one of your teams, and honestly, I really enjoyed playing with you. You were unselfish to a fault. Sometimes we wished you took some shots, but no, you were definitely.
That's why he got those assists. he used them long.
Yeah, that was it. Like, I mean, people might say it, but the two things I always did is I was always unselfish. My podcast is called Pass First, Shoot Later.
Ooh.
Yeah, Ali Quraish, you can learn from that.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about your podcast. We definitely want to help promote, other podcasts out there.
I'm a little behind with it. I haven't had one this season yet. I've had multiple people I try to schedule with, and every time last minute something comes up, we haven't been able to do it. But I did a bunch of them last season. I just kind of promoted sponsors with it, certain players in the league.
Are you looking for a sponsorship, by the way? We have Elevate Water.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be willing to sponsor.
Yes, absolutely.
That's actually a good segue for us to highlight some of our sponsors. This is.
By the way, I don't own Elevate or have any part of Elevate.
Elevate Water, the official water of the Fresh Dive podcast. We're still waiting for a check coming in from them, Amatsky. Let's turn to the Elevate camera. Oh, wait, they haven't paid for that camera yet. No, I mean, for me, the podcasts are fun, and that's another aspect of your league that I've honestly really enjoyed is like I mentioned, all that extra stuff outside of the basketball,
By the way, they're available in 7-Elevens, Fitness 19s. They're paying you to mention all that if you're not mentioning
it. The thing is, they haven't paid me yet, so I think we'll keep that talk to Elevate to a minimum.
Goodreads, everybody goes check with Claire.
Oh man,
you guys really supposed to get a sponsor from them?
No. These are actually friends of Ahmad's, right?
Yeah.
So they have a water company. This is actually their company.
No, but 100%. They will be totally down to just hook you guys up with water.
Yeah.
For the league or whatever.
Yeah. So they actually provided a case for. Ahmad told them, "Hey, we're having a podcast." They provided us a case of water for this. So that's why you'll see Elevate throughout the Fresh Dive podcast.
That's why they made me throw my water out before I walked into the house.
Yeah, this is the official Fresh Dive podcast water.
Ziad came in with the Evian water and a Jack Links bag. I was like, we need Elevate and some premium shirt in his hand.
Okay, so what's next for the league? What do you have? What are other things you have planned for it?
So there's one conversation I was having with some people from Europe. There's one group in particular that wants to kind of either make a YouTube series or a Netflix series out of it. They want to recruit players out of America, but they needed a league to kind of start promoting it. And they actually came and watched my league. They loved it. They loved the vibe that I've had with it. They think it's actually something that could really promote. And so they're considering, the owner of the group is considering talking to the rest of his league and making a YouTube series where they record our games and start recruiting players from our league, which would be something that'd be great for a lot of the guys. I have a lot of pro type players that could still play overseas. Some young guys that are coming up that should be playing now.
So they would go overseas to play.
So they have an opportunity to go overseas.
Yeah.
But what they would want to do is basically make a series out of it where, every week they're interviewing different people and kind of making higher stakes out of it, where at the end of the season they look for one player to take. And
that'd be amazing.
That'd be super dope.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, right now it's just conversations. We've had some conversations with them about it.
But you got the pedigree of the quality of players.
Yeah.
No, but on top of that, I know you're saying it's in talks, but just to have those talks and just to be on the horizon of possibility is amazing for your league. And like you mentioned, there isn't any pro-am league in Orange County. This is that component you're missing, like that media outlet, right? So that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
it would attract so much great talent to your league too, if that became a realm of possibility. Like, hey, you can get an overseas deal. I mean, realm of possibility. I mean, how close are we to that?
Again, it's just conversation stages. It's something that I had thought about even beforehand. I was actually one that kind of pitched the story to them. And
you manifested it.
Oh yeah, I did. It clicked to them. They loved it, and they saw a couple players in particular that they really liked and were considering taking right there. So once we brought that up, they were really interested. This person in particular will be back in the States at some point, probably this summer. So we'll continue the conversation from there.
Let me ask you this. Did you tell your wife that you were involved with basketball a slight amount? What level of degree did you tell her? Because you're like, I'm just passively involved with basketball, because this is not passively. I hope you warned her.
She knows. So I actually also sponsor a team in Europe. So my parents' home country is in Montenegro. And it used to be Yugoslavia, but obviously it was a war.
Yeah.
It's one of the smallest countries in the world, and they had no basketball team in my parents' towns, like none. Everything was soccer. But they actually had some really good players. And I had one guy in particular who I've been playing with since I was a kid. Every time I go there, me and him would get together and hoop, and he'd take me to where all the hoopers were to play. And he had talked to me about like putting together a like an AAU program, essentially. And I loved it. Told him that he should also go further and try to make a men's team that they can compete with professionally. And they started off as Division III team, because over there it's different. Like you have Division I, Division II, and Division III levels of professional sports. I guess NBA and G League is what you have here.
Yeah.
But they have 3 levels, and they started off with 3, and now they're up to Division I.
Oh, wow.
So I sponsored that team. I was supporting that team, super proud of them. They're growing, and now guys are starting to go over there and play. A lot of the Montenegrin and Albanian guys from over here, they're more interested about going playing over there now because the opportunity's there for such a small town. I don't know if you guys remember Nikola Pekovic. He used to play in the NBA. He's actually he's managing all basketball sports in Montenegro now.
Okay.
And so he's one of the guys supporting this team. He loves the group, what they're doing and everything like that.
Do they have a national team?
Montenegro does, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
so are any of their players in both teams, or is it a separate level?
So, I mean, there's a couple guys that are playing on different teams that are on the national team, but most of their guys from the national team are either playing in the NBA or playing in
other leagues.
Greece League, Spanish League, Turkish League. Those are 3 of like the most prominent leagues over there. Or in China. So most of their national players are playing in higher leagues professionally. Croatia has a pretty good league, and Serbia has a pretty good league, but most of those guys won't stay there unless it's like for the Euro League. They'll go play for other leagues that pay more money. Unfortunately, one of the bad things about the Balkan area is it is poorer. So most of the guys that get paid, they get paid like 300 to 500 euros a month, which is literally like $500 a month here, And over there, that's enough money to survive and be okay. But when you could make 3,000 playing in Germany, 10,000 playing in Turkey, they're going to go for that if the opportunity's there. So those bigger name players don't stay there.
The fan base and the resources are not there to support the local teams.
But it is there. It's just that so many people are invested in soccer.
Right. There's just the majority is.
And so like now there's like this movement when this team went and won the Division III title and got moved up, like they started having fans come, and people are like, oh, we're actually pretty good, and they got a couple of Americans that just came over there to play as well. So it's growing. It's something that has a bright future for them.
Awesome. Ziko, sounds like you're involved with a lot of amazing things in terms of basketball. Really excited to see all the things that come with the OC Basketball League that you're doing. So really happy for you.
Thank you.
And we're wishing the league a lot more success, and keep doing what you're doing, man. It's a lot of fun to watch everything, and I'm really excited for it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
So we're going to take this opportunity to take a break for our sponsors, actually. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're back from our sponsor break. Ziko, one thing that we were talking about a little bit on the break was ASC, the American Sports Center, closing down. And that, when I saw that happen, that was one of the things from the pandemic that, oh God, that really hurt me. I mean, I don't have a stake in ASC or anything like that, but just I've played in that gym for over 20 years, and so many different leagues. I played in so many leagues in that gym. We won our dollar menu championship in that one. And to see them like shut down. We played in
the Asian league.
Yeah,
I mean that too.
Yeah. And this was like not when we knew like each other.
Yeah.
We played the Asian leagues and stuff like that.
And I mean, so many leagues played out of ASC just because it had so many courts, And when they shut down, and I heard that they were selling it and ripping it apart, I was just like, what the heck, I mean.
What is it now? Is it just warehousing?
It's Open Gym. Open Gym Premier still owns a portion of it, right?
They own 9 courts now.
And what's going on with the rest of the place?
So what ended up happening was during the pandemic, their lease was almost up. I think they were like 3 or 4 months away from it ending, and they had requested to like not pay rent because they were closed down. Mm-hmm. And the people that owned the gym agreed to it, and so ASC didn't pay the rent. And what ended up happening was there was a manufacturing company next door. The manufacturing company had wanted that whole building for themselves years before. Mm-hmm. And they actually jumped in and did like a side deal with ASC. With the people, landlords, mm-hmm. to cut the contract with them since they weren't paying the rent. Mm-hmm. And the landlords kind of shadily agreed, unfortunately. Yeah. But the guy that owned the manufacturing company actually loved basketball. Mm-hmm. So he did feel a little bad, but he told ASC, like, hey, I actually didn't want the whole gym. I only needed half of it. I'll sublease the other half to you guys.
That's very cool, though.
Yeah. And ASC, as an organization, actually declined. So they basically left. But Open Gym Premier, which had the 3 side courts, mm-hmm. if you guys remember, mm-hmm. they were interested. And so they got a bunch of sponsors to hop in. And, I actually know who one of the sponsors is. I'm not allowed to say who it is, but he gave them a sizable portion, and they now use it for pro training. Nice. So that was kind of the whole deal that came out of it. And they got 9 courts out of it, and it worked out well for them. They chose to handle things a little differently. They wanted it to be a little more professional, a little more cleaned up. I don't know if you guys have been there. It's actually way nicer now.
I haven't been there since pandemic, to be honest. Yeah,
it's really nice. They repainted it, rebranded it. They got sponsors all over the walls. Adidas is one of their sponsors there now too, so it's really cool. Ball is Life is actually one of their partners, so they have their own court there as well. So it worked out a little better. I think it's a little classier now than it was before. But I do really miss the ASC guys. I've known them for a long time, since they lived in the Newport and Corona Del Mar area. And you remember my uncle's pizza place? When I was a kid, I used to work there, and I actually delivered to them.
What's your uncle's pizza place's name?
Massimo's Pizza.
Massimo's Pizza?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Shout out to our new sponsor.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring you guys some pizza next time.
Oh, man. Do you know if ASC is looking at another location?
No, ASC folded in general.
Oh, yeah. They had a huge gym in Arizona. I know that.
That I don't know about. Open Gym Premier has exploded. They have gyms all over now.
Got it.
Yeah, that's another business on its own.
Yeah. That's our next venture, right?
Getting a warehouse with a basketball court and all of that'd be the dream right there. The jungle ball court. And we'll still charge people $15 to play on it.
So at each event we give everybody a shirt, everybody a Gatorade, but the goal is to have a facility where we have our own jungle ball court. And what else, like sauna, whole gym?
Yeah, I mean that's what the Jungle Ball tournament is. The main thing is we always charge $15 or $20. I think we had to our shirt costs increased, right? and literally the biggest cost was a shirt. And some people were like, "Do we need to get a shirt?" We're like, yes, we do.
Especially because we played outdoors at free locations. Majority of the time, a few times we had indoor gyms.
I know. So talk to us a little bit about your sponsors for your basketball league.
Yeah, so one of my sponsors is actually Marcus Bradley. I think you guys have seen him, promote him quite a bit. He's a really good friend of mine. I've been playing with him for years, and he is a Wim Hof trained ice bath instructor.
Sick.
He also does Wim Hof breath work. I have done his classes with him. I've done the ice baths with him and stuff like that.
I'm sure we'll shoot a commercial for him, and maybe we'll get in the bathtub for 53 seconds.
No, he makes you go for 2 minutes.
That's
the minimum. You got to do 2 minutes.
You got to go for 2 minutes.
If you guys want to go, I'll go again. My brother wants to go. So after Ramadan, if you guys want to go, I'm planning on going again anyway.
I'm with it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'll go in because I can't.
You can't say you're with it and not go in.
No, I'll go to watch you. So we can.
Wait, why wouldn't you go in?
Oh, I cannot do cold. Dude, you were at Tough Mudder. There's a thing that
we did the mud run, Tough Mudder. There was essentially a water, like ice, essentially an ice bath, right? Where you have to go through this iced water thing. I mean,
and then you have to duck and fully submerge and go under something, and then pop back out. Oh man, that one killed me.
So you would never do an ice bath?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already uncomfortable with like cold temperatures already.
I am too, but I did it. I don't like cold. I actually hate like my feet being cold. I'm like really picky about that. But like I did it, and I felt amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what did you feel after?
So you have to do the Wim Hof breath work first. It kind of prepares you for it. Mm-hmm. And he actually said something like right away. He's like, you're gonna like get in there, and like for the first like 30 to 40 seconds, you're gonna literally have someone talking in your head telling you get the F out as fast as you can, kind of thing, And I was like, yeah, okay. And now when I went, I swear, like, that's the exact same thing. Like, I felt like someone was just screaming, get out as fast as you can. And, like, that was when the breath work kind of had to kick in. And he's sitting with you the whole time, reminding you how to breathe, what to do. And after, like, 40 seconds, it's, like, calm just kind of hit. And I was completely fine. The only thing I was, like, worried about was,
for the whole 2 minutes?
Yeah, I could have gone more, honestly, but there's more people waiting. One guy in my group ended up doing like 8.5 minutes. He was the last guy to go, so they let him go longer. He asked me if I wanted to do it again, but at that point I had like already gone outside in the sun, like I warmed up again. I was like, I'll try a little longer next time, And
how did you feel right after?
So right after, you do feel a little cold, obviously, especially when the sun hits you and you start getting warmed up. But honestly, like it was like I had a lot of injuries in my life, and so like I ice often in general, but when your whole body's submerged, it's completely different. Like you actually feel like you iced every part of your body, and all those injuries, those pains, they kind of went away. I actually slept amazing that night. That was like something I won't ever forget. That night I slept amazing.
Nice. So, I feel the same way with saunas and steam rooms.
So then how come you haven't done it again?
Just busy. Like most of his classes are earlier, and I'm working. So it's a little harder for me. But and then also like when summer comes, I have a little more free time, spring and summer. So
I'll say, I'll go in if Ahmad goes in. Ahmad
half the time.
What do you mean half
Yeah,
the
he
time?
won't. Dude, he's big, bro. He's like 6'7", like
Again, so
massive.
that's what
You'll
I'm
be
saying.
scared.
Yeah, so
He'll
what I'm
hold
saying,
you
I
down,
won't even
bro.
commit to it. No.
He'll like submerge your
There's a
head.
lot of
He's
things
not
I'm
letting
down.
go.
I love snowboarding. There's a bunch of things I'm down for, but that I can't.
I
Alright.
think you can. Like, it's all mental.
Yeah.
I know,
Well,
man.
yeah,
You're letting your mental demons in.
Dude, I couldn't breathe. I'm telling you, that Tough Mudder thing, I couldn't
Yeah.
breathe underneath.
Oh, I know. It was the same thing for me. The first 30 seconds, I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And are you wearing any clothes, like in tights?
I just had board shorts on. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took my shirt off, hopped in there. I got it on my Instagram. You guys could check it out.
No, all right. Maybe we'll include some footage over here and do the podcast for people.
He already released it.
I'm like pale white in that.
We'll put a filter on it.
Yeah, there you go. Don't subject him to that.
So he's one of your guys' sponsors for their
Yeah,
league?
he's one of my sponsors.
Very cool.
The other one is, you guys remember Danny Kovic?
Yes.
So Danny Kovic made a company where he helps people with mental awareness, especially athletes. So obviously, like, you guys think back when we were younger, there wasn't anything like that. You know, like your coach like would yell at you to toughen up and things like that. But when you think about like how mentally stressful things could be for players, you know, I'm surprised there wasn't something like this sooner. And so he made a company that focuses on mental awareness for athletes. He has a lot of sponsors already that are professional athletes that are working with him. He's working with a lot of high schools and colleges. I think you guys know at this point, there's like a lot of colleges where there's like athletes who have like really demanding courses and things like that. Like I forgot what school it was in particular where like there's like a really high percentage of suicide attempts. And a lot of them end up being athletes because they're going to school, they're playing sports, stakes are high for them.
Pressure.
There's so much pressure, exactly. And so he made this awesome app and then person-to-person service that he does, Zoom meeting service that he does, helping people like that. So his company as well. I actually don't remember the name of his company off the top of my head right now.
No, it's okay. We'll plug it right here.
Plug it in.
We'll plug it in right over here. We'll give him a shout out for sure.
Yeah.
And then I do have another
The
sponsor.
company name is
Restoic.
Yeah. Have me say that and then Rose voice come in and say it.
The company name is
Restoic.
it's something completely different, obscure voice. No, we got you.
Yeah.
We'll put a shout out for him for
So
sure.
yeah, and then the other one is actually a buddy of mine who I played basketball with for years. I've known him since high school. His name is Lloyd Cotton. You guys remember Shea Cotton, right? Basketball player at Mater Dei. He was like the first LeBron James of his era.
We'll have to see a picture.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
he played for Mater Dei years ago, and this is his little cousin. And the guy actually paints shoes. So he's one of our sponsors as well.
I know.
does
I'm
some pretty
a
cool-
feel good threads.
Feel good threads.
Feel good threads kind of guy. Shout out
shout
to
out.
him. Yeah.
So yeah, he's one of our sponsors as well, and those are the three I have right now.
Nice.
So.
And what's his company name? Or
His is OC Sneaker King.
Nice.
Nice.
Is he a plug for sneakers or just custom sneakers?
That I don't know. I'd have to check on
Oh
that.
man.
Does he repair shoes as well?
He does.
Yeah, because I have a pair of Kobe 2s that I'd love to get those back up and running.
I would check with him. He might be able to help you with that.
Awesome. I don't know. The Feel Good Threads is able to do that as well too. No, that's awesome.
They should have feel good threads on the pod too.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have. Well, we can talk about scheduling later. We got our esteemed guest Ziko in here right now. Ziko, no, I'm really excited about the league. Like I mentioned before we went on break, all the things I've been kind of watching, what you've been doing, and because this is all things. If I was to have my own league, I'd be doing those same things. Like I mentioned, the post-game interviews, all of that stuff. It's just fun stuff.
Just the Division II league inside of another league.
Yeah,
Right.
essentially. No, honestly, I'm really happy that you're doing this. And
The players are involved too, which is dope. They're commenting on each thing.
Yeah.
They're
I actually have
switching
let the players do the interviews sometimes too.
Very
I don't know
good,
if you
yeah.
guys have caught that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like there's sometimes like I'm so busy running back and forth doing things, setting up, and I don't have time to do every interview. I think I missed a couple of interviews where like the players like mad, like you didn't interview me, you should have done me or this guy, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. And so I just started telling them like, hey, interview the whole team, like do it yourselves, like send it to me. And it's actually hilarious, some of the stuff they're sending me, So everybody loves it. Everybody's getting involved.
No, I mean, I'd be mad too if I had popped off, had a good game. I was like waiting for my interview and Ziko's doing something else. I'm like, all right, what's going on with that? No, man, no, it sounds like a lot of fun. So we're going to transition now to talk about some conspiracies, Ziko. Ziko and I have had some good talks in the past too about some of our thoughts about what's going on in the universe. So a recurring theme for the Fresh Side podcast is to talk about the things unknown and all those other stuff. Ziko, why
Things
don't you
that go bump in the night.
I mean, Ziko, let's talk about a little bit. What's one conspiracy theory that you hold on to and you believe, and that you want to share with everybody?
One?
Oh
man, I thought we were gonna go off.
I'm happy to go about more than that. Let's talk about a few of them.
Dude, there's so many. Like, okay, how about we just put a couple on the table and start rolling with one?
Love it.
Okay, so obviously you and I have talked about aliens and spaceships quite a bit.
Yes.
Which we have both seen spaceships.
Yes.
Multiple times.
Yes.
So I haven't heard your story. I've heard your story.
You've
of
heard
course. What is your story?
I have multiple ones. So like I used to camp a lot, and so like you go out into the forests or the desert, you see everything at night.
Oh yeah. I've been in Yosemite.
You're gonna start You're gonna start seeing things like flying around. That's not a shooting star.
Let me tell you, shooting stars are not stars. Let me tell you, those are UFOs moving, and everybody's just bought into this concept. It's a star that's just flying across. All of a sudden, that's insane. There is no such thing as a shooting star. Those are freaking UFOs flying across. Go ahead, Ziko. Sorry.
The other one, which me and Morose have an almost identical experience. I was actually driving in the daytime on the 405 freeway, headed north. I was headed to LAX, and in broad daylight, actually, I thought it was a blimp. I still to this day, like thinking about it, like I was looking at it, wasn't paying any attention. I thought it was a blimp off into the distance. And there was traffic, and like next thing I know, like 2 fighter jets, just like I heard them coming too, like coming from behind me, going straight towards the blimp. I was like, the hell? And so like I work in aerospace, so like I know all about different types of fighter jets and stuff. And so I'm looking at these, and I'm like, what are those doing here? Like that's like usually like red flag. Like if you see F-216s, it's like something's going on, and they're going straight for this thing. And I look at the blimp, and it just kind of goes whoop, and just boom. Gone. And so like first I'm thinking like I'm losing my shit, right? Like I'm going crazy, But then I look, and like every car next to me is stopped. Like, what the hell? What did I just see? Because the way it moved, like think blimp just doing this and just boom.
What year was this?
I think I was like 24, 25. So this is a good 12, 13 years ago.
Nice. And how old were you when you had that experience?
Mine was in 1996.
That would make
so
you
I was
like
13. This guy. No, Ziko, I mean, just to recap my experience, very similar. I was on the 405 freeway as well, moving away from LAX. That's why I was like, hey, could we have it on opposite sides of the freeway?
That's why I asked your age. I was like, because I knew yours were younger.
So yeah, mine was in 1996. I saw 4 objects in the sky, clear blue sky, same thing, stuck in traffic. It was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm telling you, not a cloud in the sky.
Yep.
I see 4 stationary objects. They were diamond shaped. I could make out the shape to this day. I remember them completely. They were silverish white, and they were not moving at all. When you look at it, it literally felt like somebody drew them on. The way they were just stationary, They stayed there for like 15, 20 seconds. The 2 in the middle, I was on the 405 freeway right by Western Exit in Gardena Torrance area. The 2 in the middle rotated outwards, made a diamond formation. And my brother and I are just looking at it. I wasn't alone too. If I was alone, I probably would have gone even crazier. Just thinking, what did I see? The fact that my brother was there with me too and said, hey, do you see that? He's the one that pointed it out too. And I was looking at it already. And then 15, 20 seconds, they literally, you can see them move away, and they were out of sight within 1 second. Super fast. Unlike anything I've ever seen to this day, with all the technology we have, nothing moved that fast.
The speed is what kills you. That's when you're like, no, that's not. That's nothing we made.
100%. When you see the speed that they move away, I'm just like, what is that? Ziko, you sent me a video of when you guys were driving to Vegas.
Yeah.
What was that?
I'm trying to remember what that was. I might have seen
it. It was like something that was floating.
Yeah,
right?
Something was actually floating. We were actually, we were maybe like 15 minutes out from Vegas.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, there's like all those areas where they're selling like the alien jerky.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure there's people who see weird stuff there all the time. And it was off in the distance towards the mountains, and there was a cloud behind it. And when the cloud moved is when I started recording and sent it to you. Something was just hovering, just sitting there. And someone else had stopped their car, gotten out to record as well. And then I was like, I have to record this. And I was like, who am I going to send it to? May. Because he's going to believe me. Most people won't believe me.
Oh, and 100%. And the thing is, I don't share this with too many people, but like as I've been telling more people, I don't know if you check your TikTok, but you have a bunch of videos for me where I'm just constantly...
I don't use TikTok too much, but I will. I'll check it.
When you go on there, you're going to literally go to your inbox and you'll see like 20 videos from me.
I actually don't know how to log into my old TikTok. I don't know what email or password to use. So I have a new one. So
I've been sending you those videos too.
I don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
No, that's just wild that you got to see that. You know,
multiple times. There's more times too. Like that's not it. I've seen it multiple times.
Tell us another time.
Another time was actually on Laylatul Qadr night. So we actually had a party at my parents' house. Big iftar dinner and everything, and so we had like 60 people at our house, and everybody was like going home around the same time, and I was helping my aunt load stuff into the car, and we get outside and like half my neighborhood is outside, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And so we look outside, and like right around where the moon was at that time, there was maybe 10 to 15 light bulbs just kind of floating awkwardly in the air. And first someone said, oh no, those are those you know how people like fill up those like candle
the floating.
Yeah. And so like first someone's like, yeah, that's that.
New Year's,
and then one of them just goes boom, like jolts left. I was like, no, it's not. Like,
what year was this?
This was probably, I think I was like maybe 19 or 20 years old. So this was even further back then. So 18, 19 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, I start seeing one go like this, and like half my neighborhood kind of gasps when they hear it and they see that happen. And so like all of them kind of start boom, boom, all awkward movements. So like when a plane goes, you can go forward.
Your trajectory.
You can't go back.
Yeah, but
we know of.
But could you imagine drones? That could have been drones at the time.
But,
no, well, even still, like that, like speed of a drone to go one way and then straight back. It's difficult.
Let me tell you that what Ahmad just said right now. Always, that's the new story, right?
Yeah.
When everybody was seeing UFOs back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, what was the thing? Weather balloon, right? Everybody was saying, oh, it's a weather balloon, weather balloon, weather balloon. Now, anytime you see any object in the sky, now the response is, it's a drone, right? Drone technology, let me tell you, I mean, even the commercial drones right now, their battery life lasts 30 minutes max.
No, but that's commercial.
Commercial. I'm talking about commercial.
And this was high in the
No, I understand, but the capabilities that the drones have, military grade.
So now, okay, but see, that's the thing.
Like, or not even military grade, just those like drones are replacing fireworks. So you see those like images, like
yep.
You know what I mean?
So like I mean at the Super Bowl halftime they have like that whole drones that like maybe 100 drones where they make an image or whatever. That's what's pissing me off now though, is that everybody is saying, hey, these are the drones now. Go like this is what it is now. It's drones, you know. So that's the problem that I have now is anytime you see any object in the sky,
there's an excuse for it.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
there's always an excuse for it, but again, I do believe in aliens. I do believe in there's space, UFOs and stuff like that. But at the same time, there should be more evidence around the world.
How much evidence do you need though? Like how many videos have you seen?
Not even about this. Let me give you a great example. Imagine like a government that we've overthrown. Right? Or take North Korea. You're thinking there's no UFOs there, right? They haven't seen anything. What if they could be like, oh yeah, you have like, they're not cooperating with the overall agenda. What EU has or USA has.
Well, you have to also keep in mind every country has their own secret intelligence agency. They're not openly sharing everything they know. They're even your allies, like let's take England for example. They're a big ally of the US. You think they're sharing all of their intelligence information they have? They're not. Same thing Russia's not going to do it. China's not going to do it.
No, I agree. But let's just say,
and these are the countries that are going to be capable of having any information.
110%. I just say what level of power you have to be to have that information privy to you, right? Gaddafi or someone huge. You don't think? What I mean, there's always that thing, like they could say that. Like if they have it, they would show it.
Well,
too.
okay, so here's something that I'll transition to a little bit since we're on the topic of aliens. I'm going to transition to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, like, here's a perfect example of why all those nations who obviously there's a North American Bigfoot, which we talk about in America quite a bit, but there's the Yeti, which goes across the Asian continent into Russia, and other parts. There's rumors of it in Europe. There's rumors of it in Australia. There's different names for it all over the place. What would be the reason that they won't want that information leaked? Why would the government not talk about that? And the biggest reason they wouldn't talk about that is if there's a hominid that walks on 2 feet and which reportedly by all Native American cultures say they can speak, they have their own language, that means that those hominids were here before us and they have right to land, which we cannot take from them. So why would a government keep this stuff quiet? Well, if they let it be known, then they'd have to give those hominids the right to their land, just like they had to do with the Native Americans.
Right.
So, like, that's why they protect national forests and stuff like that, which most of those areas where we see Bigfoots, nobody can buy that land, nobody can use that land. If they actually release those things, there's a reason the government doesn't want it to be known, because by right, they have to acknowledge it and say, this is their land, we can't touch it, we can't enter it, which is the reason government would never admit to it, because they'd be losing assets.
Well, I mean, Ahmad, and kind of also in response to your question, why haven't these government officials, the big motivation for a lot of times them keeping it secret is they think society can't handle it. There's going to be chaos. People aren't going to work anymore. It's going to be rampages to the grocery market.
But the Superman movie touched on that.
No, true. But like, if I'm losing everything, I'm like, yeah, dude, the alien exists. This technology. The main thing governments do want to keep it under wraps is to learn from it and to learn.
Or they already have a
to
side
learn
deal.
from it and to grow it. To grow from it, to learn and grow from it. But the main thing that I just find it like, someone from some part of the world like should have some encounter as well that they would expose.
So kind of what you're saying is like Trump, for example, completely unhinged, right?
Correct.
How come he hasn't just been like, hey, by the way, we do have aliens, they have it there, Again, I think there's a whole nother layer of intelligence that they keep it from these world leaders, because they understand these people are unhinged. They can just go and share secrets like that, no problem,
By the sidebar, do you think Bigfoots exist?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you believe they have magical powers or no? Because there's people say they have magical powers as well. You say you've experienced Bigfoot as well?
No, I haven't. I would actually, if I could experience anything, I think that'd be something I'd want to experience.
Really?
I actually love like that primal aspect of something like that. Again, I used to hike and camp and do all this stuff everywhere, which I would still do it, but my wife is terrified of that stuff. So
wait, what do you base your belief that Bigfoots exist on?
Number one, I actually love Native American culture. It's something that I've studied quite a bit, and every Native American culture talks about this. There's also other countries that have these stories quite a bit. Again, I mentioned the Yeti. Australia has, I forgot what they call theirs. It's a different name. So if it's talked about that much, if it's seen by that many people, if there's that many videos,
folklore, different tales,
folklore, all kinds of stuff like that. The amount of stories with Bigfoot in the Native American culture is insane. Like I wasn't even looking for it, but it pops up over and over and over and over again. And so we have obviously Gigantopithecus, which we've talked about, in anthropology quite a bit. Who's to say that those things are not still around today? Now, people could say like, oh, how have we not seen it? Again, how many videos do you need? How many eyewitness reports do you see where there's hundreds of thousands of people that have had these videos?
Well, they will say, but when they say there should be skeletons or like some kind of remains.
Well, what makes you think they don't have it?
That's true too.
Okay.
No, that's true.
So there's actually one guy in particular who, if you guys want to do some research on, he is Todd Standing. He's actually been here to California, and he has talked about the Bigfoot in California. He says there's Bigfoot in Lake Arrowhead area. but he talks about the Lake Tahoe Bigfoot, which there was like tons and tons of missing people. 411 episodes, they talk about missing people all the time. A lot of them went out of Lake Tahoe, and he thinks all of them are Bigfoots. You either killing people, capturing people, and so he has some of the best footage of Bigfoot ever. You can go look at his stuff on YouTube. He has full face pictures of them, and you know, like when you see that much stuff, how many people are really gonna sit and like, I'm gonna go make a fake? I know there's people that do that, but there's thousands upon thousands of videos, pictures. Not all of them are gonna be fake. And people are going to say like, oh, we've traveled everywhere, we would have seen them. Well, like if you think about it, this is something that's going to be like, again, primal. It's going to be something that's completely connected to the forest, something that knows how to hide, something that knows how to move way faster than us.
I mean, could you imagine an octopus, like, you know how it camouflages, right? Could you imagine a Bigfoot camouflaging to the tree, changing its texture, you know, like it doesn't need to, you know what I'm saying?
By the way, continuation from episode 3, I did watch the octopus documentary that Hamza requested.
Oh, yeah.
I just watched it. But exactly what she's talking about, like the octopuses can change your texture, which we kind of touched on the previous episode too, how octopus can essentially be alien life form. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah,
because,
I agree with that.
Because a lot of things that what we've heard in terms of aliens is always, you know, psychic abilities and telekinetic or telekinesis or whatever. Octopuses can change their color of their skin just in an instant with a thought, you know? Like, that's insane, the ability to do that.
Reptilians, too. Look at the chameleons.
Yeah.
So
poor guys are just so slow.
No, so I mean, one of the alien species, going back to aliens a little bit too, is the reptilians. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Of course.
There's the blues, the grays, you know, and there's so many different alien species that, I mean, of course, the universe is so vast too. One other component though is the moon. I think we've had a conversation too before about that, Ziko, about how the moon is essentially a satellite. And one thing that, I mean, always throws me off is the fact that we haven't seen the other side of the moon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How is that possible? Think about that. Like the moon, we haven't seen the other side of the moon.
Have we gone to any other? Have we gone to other places besides?
Well, we've sent the Mars rover.
Mars rover. Yeah. But no people. I'm talking about people.
No,
right?
people.
No. Just like.
And so one thing that always I just don't have a good answer for is why have we not sent another person to the moon since the 60s? That's insane to me.
Now we're gonna start that rabbit hole, aren't we, May?
Yeah, I mean, no, but like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things that are really funny. Like, you know how like they say like Illuminati,
no resources,
right? They're gonna like give you little hints here and there. Like Hollywood gives us little hints here and there. Like Transformers has a movie called The Dark Side of the Moon. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Star Wars, the spaceship is the moon, right? All these little things that come up. It's kind of crazy when you kind of start going down this rabbit hole and looking for these things like that, because it's so deep and so dark and so messed up when you go down it. Like, if you really go into it, like, your video is going to be canceled on the internet. Like, it's, you know, like,
you can't even comprehend it.
Could you imagine, as we're talking about this, all the lights just turn off right now? And I'm like, quick, start burning the files. What files? I don't have any files. No, but like, just the whole thought of like the moon itself. And I'm telling you, let me tell you, there's been so many times where like me and Rimsha will go in the car, we'll start driving, and I'm looking up at them when I go, hey, Rimsha, that doesn't look right, you know?
Yeah. But it's how would we be able to fabricate? That's like, you know, how do you fabricate gravity? How do you fabricate like the sun? How do you fabricate so many things?
Now you're gonna start talking about flat earthers.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, like that's like where all these things tie. Those are the same questions they ask, you know, and like you'll even have like religious people who will reference the Bible and the firmament and things like that, and how God is protecting us with that. And they'll talk about how former astronauts will say things like, we don't have the technology to break through the firmament and get back to the moon anymore. We don't have the technology to get into space. And like, these little things kind of pop up, and you're just like, why would they say that? Like, and then also, why does you know, the what's it called, what is that group that where all the world has like all the world leaders get together?
The UN.
The UN has the flat Earth symbol in the background of of their headquarters. Like all these things pop up.
No, and
there's so many questions.
So here's another conspiracy that people talk about: Antarctica.
It's ice wall.
They say that could be essentially a portal to inner Earth, right? Inner Earth is a whole nother thing. There's a whole species of beings living in Earth, and why can't anybody just go to Antarctica right now? Think about that for a second. You're not allowed to go to Antarctica.
And you could fly to certain parts, but when you fly there, you can only be on a plane that has no windows, so you don't even see. You're going.
Like that's.
They try and say it's so cold that we have to be on a plane with no windows because it'll crack. But like, come on, man! Like,
but there's people there,
Yeah, how can James Cameron go such like deep depths to discover?
He says that all his like movies are like documentaries. Like he talks about stuff like that.
Yeah, but like this whole thing about Antarctica is mind blowing.
Yeah,
like. Why can't anybody go? Like, first of all, we can travel to any other continent in the world, right? But why can't we go to Antarctica?
Let's go.
We can't. We can't.
Can't get there.
Wow,
and if you try,
you can't. There's no possible.
We'll make a podcast about going to Alaska.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the astral projection. People who projected themselves to the Antarctica base, and they say they have people who can astral project as defenses too to stop people. So this lady, I forget her name, she said she projected onto a base in Antarctica. Another one chased her out of it, and she literally had to change her location from across the world to lose him. But like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, my whole thing is, why can't anybody go and document Antarctica?
So like one of the things you can do is kind of look to history and look at everything that every culture talks about. Obviously, Indian culture has a lot of this stuff where they talk about. Now, I hope no one from MBL gets mad at me. The gods. Right?
Hey, again, this is not an MBL sanctioned podcast.
Okay, so yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
you watching it.
I'm gonna get a message from somebody. Sorry, guys.
Just blur it.
Yeah, somebody during Ramadan. You're really gonna say that? I'm for sure gonna get that. But like think about like the wars they talk about in like the Indian culture that happen, and like let's just say, devil's advocate, no pun intended, God did make a firmament to protect us from those outer elements that were wreaking havoc on Earth. Maybe that's one of those reasons that we can't go past it. You get through that veil and God knows what's going to follow you back in, kind of thing. One of the greatest lines I've heard anyone say is, every monster you ever told about, all those stories, all of them are real. Like you start thinking about that, like imagine if they actually were. Imagine like those Indian gods that came in with all the power that they had, the electricity, the weapons, all the things that they were able to use, like the giants, all these things. Imagine if, Yeah,
well, I mean, that's what they say, right? The previous people, whoever was here, they were on a different wave for their technology. We went towards mechanics and industry, blah, blah. What if they figured out vibrations to move matter? What if they tapped into a different scientific that we're not privy to at the moment?
I mean, with pyramids, we can't figure that we can't make a pyramid right now if we want it to that perfection.
Yeah, the pyramids is a whole nother thing. We touched a little bit about that too. I mean, and even now, I mean, sometimes you get those reports of, hey, they picked up a radio signal from the universe. How is that possible, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's something out there emitting that signal. Like, that's why it still boggles my mind how people can still argue against that there's life outside there.
Yeah, same here.
It just doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's just outside. I think some of it's still here.
Orion's bell, man. The perfect from Men in Black.
Yeah.
Orion's bell. That's just an image I always have. Like, we could think like we're we're on our planet, whatever else. There could be planets within our planets. Like galaxies. It's like,
man. I one of the videos I love watching, and I probably watch this video once a week, practically. Not that much, but it's just the size of the universe, right? and how like whenever it zooms out, like you start from Earth and then zooms out to our solar system, then to our galaxy,
Milky Way,
then to the bigger galaxies, and I love watching that video.
To
and let me tell you,
holes,
and
to the
then,
planets colliding.
and then the part that it goes when it stops at is the observable universe, right? And there is no way in that it stops there.
Yeah.
I don't think our minds can comprehend how amazingly vast the universe is, because I think it just goes to infinity. Like when they say observable universe, that's what they say how big the universe is. But again, that's observable. There's what's after that?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly, because we're capturing that stuff that's light years away. That's already happened.
Yeah.
Right. So we're capturing stuff that's already happened, because we can't break that barrier to be ahead of what's happening already at that time.
That's the Matrix, right? That's what the whole movie is about. You break through that barrier, and what's left? It's infinite numbers, because that's the only thing we can comprehend past that.
Oof, well, I think once we reach the Matrix, I think that's where we need to pause there, guys. Hey, no, Ziko, I think we're gonna have to continue this conversation when we get to the Matrix. No, but honestly, Ziko, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. We had a lot of fun having you on. I've known you for so many years. It's been a pleasure knowing you, being a friend to you, and just having you come over and join the podcast. This is episode 4, so this is still relatively early. You're one of the early interviewees for us, so we're really excited that you were able to join us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. This was awesome. I love that you guys even considered me for it. I think you guys got something special here, so I hope you guys keep it going. And you got at least one viewer in me, so.
Awesome.
No, exactly.
Well,
we need the whole Pepe clan.
Yeah. We're trying to go to that.
We're looking for the least 5-6 subscribers.
Well, my brother, who just wrote a children's book, I know he's dying to get on any
awesome.
media he can.
Yeah.
So
why don't we shut up?
when you guys get really bored and slow, just
No. Like we were mentioning, like the overall theme that I'm just sensing is just about passion and just having fun.
Yeah.
And, just doing things, and like we love talking about people going through our memory lanes. Like all the past people that have been here just have been friends, pretty much.
Exactly, and all of our friends are not necessarily what they're doing for work, but like what are they doing for like what their passion is, and that's why the basketball league you're running. I was like, this is perfect for us to talk about, and just to pick your brain and see what's going on with that, and just talk to you. And this is just us hanging out. Thank you guys so much, and I think that's a wrap for episode 4, guys.